you got to be careful with going overs on some of these season-long props.
He's the guy I think will get the leading number of targets there. I think he just gets over that 1,000-yard threshold. So I'll play it, but maybe like a half a unit bet.
It's such a low number, Jeff, that of course you have to think about it.
Let's go to the Green Bay Packers. We kind of have a lot of shared optimism on the Packers. So how about Jaden Reed in particular? Over 700.5 receiving yards at -110, fewer than teammate Matthew Golden. Kelly, play it or pass it?
Yeah, I think this is a tough one. I will say play it because I am a big Jaden Reed fan of what he's done early in his career. I think if I believe in the Packers, I believe in Jordan Love, it probably means he's having a good season. I will echo what Nick said earlier, though. I think you got to be careful with going overs on some of these season-long props. There's maybe one, maybe two that I'll get involved with in a season, but not a market that I am actively betting just because injury will destroy this immediately. So I like the number, like you just said. You compare it to a Golden. I think he's got a good shot to go over this if he plays, even if he plays 13, 14 games, I think he could easily get there. So I'll say a play it, but just cautious there.
Guys, let's talk a little Chicago Bears. Let's talk a little bit about DJ Moore to score 10 or plus receiving TDs in the regular season, +300. Nick Whalen, play it or pass it?
Well, first of all, I love when we get the Jeff Erickson patented Chicago accent coming out whenever we talk Bears.
Live
Good
there.
to see that. Look, I think we're getting reasonable value here at 3-1 for a guy who could take a huge step forward under Ben Johnson. There's also been some kind of concerning reporting. Like a month ago, DJ Moore came out and said, I don't know if I'm going to be getting the ball quite as much as I thought I would. We talked about so many mouths to feed in this offense. Obviously, you have Roma Dunze. You got two rookies coming in Colston Loveland and Luther Burden. And we're talking about a guy in DJ Moore who's maxed out at 8 touchdowns throughout his career. That was back in 2023. Now, he hasn't missed a game since 2020, so that does work in his favor. I think the Bears take a step forward. I will play this one at 3-1. I think there's just enough value here for me.
Brock Bowers, over 5.5 receiving TDs, +120. Play it or pass it?
I think I got to play this one, guys. It's just a really, really low number. And, I think you'd be surprised that Brock Bowers only got to 5 touchdowns last year, considering the consistent volume, considering the number of targets that he saw. And, of course, he did that with a slew of poor quarterback plays. So I'm even more confident that Brock Bowers can come close to repeating what he did last season. And, maybe we lop off some of the yardage and he makes up for it with more efficiency in the red zone. I think just upgrading to Pete Carroll, upgrading to Geno Smith, I feel a lot better about the red zone opportunities. I think there'll be more red zone volume for the Raiders this season, so I'll play this one.
Let's move it on to the Falcons. Kyle Pitts, just saying the name makes me shudder a little bit there, but over 525.5 receiving yards, -110. Play it or pass it?
It's such a low number, Jeff, that of course you have to think about it. 525.5. He had 602 yards and 667 yards over the last 2 seasons. Did play 17 games in both of those years. Look, if I'm optimistic on Michael Penix, I'm optimistic on Drake London, the Falcons offense overall, I think I have to include Kyle Pitts in that conversation, but this is still a pass for me. If he had missed 1 or 2 games last year, he probably goes under this number. There's just a little too much health risk when you're talking about a tight end who has kind of been scraping by as far as going over this number, despite not missing any time. You also have to be concerned, Jeff, when you look at the target fall off. 2 years ago, he had 90 targets, just 74 last season. I know some people are talking themselves back into Kyle Pitts, given the basically free acquisition cost in fantasy drafts, but I want nothing to do with this.
Yeah, I hear you. Just too many scars there. Even last year, I'm like, this never works. But what if it works for me? Yeah, it was one of those moments there. So I'm going to pass on that one as well.
And I'm going to give you A.J. Brown to put up at least 10 receiving touchdowns this season at +225. Play it or pass it?
I'm going to pass it. I just can't do it. We haven't seen him get there since 2022. Career high is 11. So even when he does pass this, it's not like he's smashing the number. You would be sweating this out until the bitter end. It's just not one that I'm willing to commit myself to. And health is always a concern with him. This is a guy who gets beat to hell down the field, takes big hits, and he didn't play all 17 last year. So perhaps that creeping up and becoming an even bigger issue. You have to bake that into any sort of A.J. Brown analysis. Can't get there. Going to have to pass it.
We're taking a look at rookie wide receiver Ted McMillan. Ted McMillan to put up 1,000 plus receiving yards as a rookie this season, +275. Play it or pass it?
I am going to play it. I think it's going to be really close. I think it'll come down to the wire here. As you alluded to in the notes, since 2010, 17 rookie wide receivers have gone for 1,000+ yards. We had 3 last year. 2023, we only had 1. But I think of the rookie receivers this year, I think Ted McMillan, who was drafted first among them, I'm not counting Travis Hunter. I think he's his own special type of player, but I think he's the most likely of this rookie class to do so. And in part because I look at the competition on the team. I don't really see anybody else on this team being an alpha. Adam Thielen was kind of that guy once he came back from injury, once Bryce Young kind of established that connection with him. I think as long as McMillan stays healthy, he's the guy I think will get the leading number of targets there. I think he just gets over that 1,000-yard threshold. So I'll play it, but maybe like a half a unit bet. It's going to be, it wouldn't be like a strong bet for sure.
Puka Nacua over 5.5 receiving touchdowns this season. This one's at -120. Play it or pass it.
This will play it. This will play it for me, and it might actually end up being a bet for me as well. I do expect. Look, Stafford MVP bet. I know the numbers weren't thrilling last year in the passing game. Kyron Williams really becoming a big factor in this offense. Helps lead to that a little bit. But with Cooper Kupp gone, yes, you bring in Devontae Adams, but this is the time when Puka Nacua, you're the guy now. You're the dude out there. Adams getting a little bit older. I still think he's got a lot left in the gas tank. But you're talking 5.5 receiving touchdowns. I think it's a low enough bar for me to want to go over on Puka Nacua. So that is a play for me.
If we're taking a look at David Njoku, the number for his season-long receiving yards prop, 675.5. Are you playing the over on that, or are you passing?
I'm going to pass it. It seems reasonable on its face. You're like, oh yeah, 675. He's probably their number 2 target. Yeah, should make it, no problem. Well, first of all, he's only done that once in 8 seasons, and holy cow. David Njoku's played 8 seasons in the NFL already. Doesn't seem like it already, but he's missed a decent amount of time. But he's only hit that number 1 time. Availability is the most important ability in football. He's missed 6 games last year, 4 games in 2022. He's had a number of different injuries. Not necessarily his fault, but the fact is he's prone to these injuries. You got the college of quarterbacks throwing it to him here. Which of the 5 quarterbacks is going to be playing the most? It's probably not going to be, Dylan Gabriel, but who knows? It'd probably be Flacco that throws it the most often, but we'll see. That might be the path. That's why the number is where it is, because the one time he hit that number, it was with Flacco a couple of years ago. And I'm not sure that's a guarantee that Flacco sticks there all season long. They drafted another tight end, Harold Fannin. I think that could cut into Njoku's targets. I mean, you look at the quarterback situation in Cleveland. I think that's just a big mess. I do think Flacco begins the year as a starter, but who knows? It could be Kenny Pickett. It could be Shedeur Sanders, graduate from the Jordan Addison School of Driving. It could be Dylan Gabriel. Who knows? I mean, it could be anybody. So we'll see. I just don't love that. I think that number is just enough out of my reach to want to play it. So I'll pass it.
So taking a look at Cooper Kupp, over 775.5 receiving yards, a number he has not hit since 2022. This is -110. Are you playing or passing that?
It's another health bet. He hasn't played more than 12 games in any of the last 3 seasons. I'm betting against it right then and there, but then it's also a bet against Sam Darnold and that Seattle offensive line. This is a comfortable pass. I'd look to bet the under on this one.
Are you playing or passing Jackson Smith-Njigba at his current ADP?
I'm playing. Just took him in the Scott Fish Bowl on Saturday. I think this is the bad team finding one player and locking in on him. If I think Kupp is not going to be that guy. I think JSN will be. I just think he's emerged as the leader already on this team, and I don't think Kupp changes that matrix at all. I am in on JSN. I think the price is still fine. I don't think he's getting treated like a top 2 round player. So yeah, I'm in.